Christianity is not a religion. You hear people saying, "Are you religious?" I say, don't saddle me with that word. Them's fighting words. Don't you dare call me religious. I hate religion just as much as the average atheist does. We as Christians are not celebrating Easter, which is a pagan holiday. It just happens that we chose that day to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Quote, "The New Testament writers speak as if Christ's achievement in rising from the dead was the first event of its kind in the whole history of the universe. He is the first fruits, the pioneer of life. As it says in Daniel chapter 12, that knowledge will be increasing on an exponential basis in the end times." And folks, we're there. They showed the world's first photograph of an actual black hole on television just a few days ago. And you ladies might like to know this. It was a woman who accomplished this photograph through coordinating of 8 different telescopes on the earth and so on. And it was a big news item because we now have an actual photograph of a black hole. So this is pretty exciting. But we will look at 3 areas. Number 1, did the crucifixion actually kill Jesus? Some people say, "Oh, Jesus never really died. They took him down off the cross while he was alive and he revived." They call that the swoon theory. We'll talk more about that. Secondly, we'll talk about, was Jesus actually buried? Some people say, "Oh, Jesus was dead, all right, but they just threw him in a ditch someplace because he was executed as a criminal." Really? Was Jesus actually buried? And then some people have what they call the wrong tomb theory. Oh, the women went to the wrong tomb, and that one was, of course, empty. Really? Did the Jews go to the wrong tomb? The disciples went to the wrong tomb? The Romans went to the wrong tomb? Everybody in Jerusalem went to the wrong tomb? Are you kidding me? It takes more faith to believe that than to believe the story that was actually written down. The fact that it was the women who first saw that the tomb was empty and they first saw the risen Christ, that in itself was an embarrassing detail. Why on earth would the apostles write down a story that they made up using embarrassing detail? Because in those days, the testimony of women was not regarded as very highly. And yet it was the women who first saw the risen Christ. So the fact that it was women in itself lends its own type of veracity to the story, because if I were going to make up a story, I would make my heroes very heroic, strong, powerful. And back then I would have made them male. Why is it that they wrote that women saw it? The best explanation is because that's what really happened. Pictured here are some books for further study. From left to right, top row is Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh McDowell and Sean McDowell, Ph.D. Cold Case Christianity by J. Warner Wallace. Bottom row from left to right, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Is God a Moral Monster by Paul Copan. And last but not least, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist by Norman L. Geisler and Frank Turek. The preceding program has been a production of GLYEM, Gary Lee Young Evangelical Ministries. No animals were harmed in the making of this video.